Okay, now I will basically continue to work on tearing this part here. This is going to be for my fires. I'm going to crack this one. Let's see if I can do it with my hand. That's a nice palm technique. I like that. Basically, I just have to nail these, or remove these nails, and I put them over here in this box. I gotta bring this back over here. As I explained in an earlier video, I will explain the elements of a con. Different ways to do cons. One is to basically get the attention of whoever you're trying to basically con. In the sense that you're trying to get their attention with the wrong information. Whether it's largely, like I wrote on Facebook and had somebody ask, mention, said they couldn't wait for the second reply. Of course, being it was the person who I got it from couldn't be sarcastic, but I'm deadly serious about this stuff. You basically want to make them, whoever you're trying to con, or group of people you're trying to con, you basically try to get them focus on an idea or an item. You make them think you want this more than anything else. That's when they start basically paying attention to that, being on guard for that, revolving around that, acting around that. Then you can sit back and study them and their reactions. You learn basically human nature that way. They will continually act the same way. They'll reveal themselves because they don't realize you're basically leading them into something along the lines of basically a trap. And that's my iron palm technique. I've been practicing that since I was young. I've been starting to do it again lately at work on boxes as I throw them away. But yeah, you basically, once you get people all going towards the same direction, you're herding people, basically. You herd them into an area or into a action. You're feeding them stuff, basically. That's what that idea or item or thing. Because then, see what they're thinking, they're learning your nature, but it's a false front. That's what you do. You put up a false front, and then you can understand them. While they think they're understanding you, you're putting up something that is completely false. But they don't realize that, and they're not going to necessarily put up a false face too much themselves, because they don't realize you're paying attention to them or what they got. It's kind of like a lookout on say, like a con gang. That is basically, before there were all the wonderful security measures, many, many years ago, you basically needed a good brain and a lookout. And then you could basically do anything you wanted, as long as you had a lookout looking out for whoever was basically paying attention to you. So they, and if the lookout was paying attention to what was going to basically harm you, aka making them the false object, while everybody else was doing the real work, or the con, ooh, you had basically that element set up. Let's try this other hand. So basically, you always want to have something false, a false front, false pretense, to basically be able to figure out the subjects you're basically fooling. And back in the day, it happened to be a department store. And granted, we were very young, so I'm not this way anymore. I just studying the movie Revolver and just watching birds fly by. Morning dove. Basically, it's about con games and the Kabbalah and stuff like that. So I've always been one for studying con games because of being a fan of Harry Houdini and P.T. Barnum and stuff like that. Just the basically being able to fool people into thinking something is more valuable than what it is to you or them or just in the general public at large. So you basically make what you are putting forward look more valuable than truly what it is. And because you've got their attention over there, you are therefore being able to stand back, almost like in a shadow or whatever. Just you're observing. It's like Sherlock Holmes said, some people see, which is useless in a sense, but the key is to observe. You know, if you just see something, like I see this block, but if you observe it, you can observe all sorts of stuff about it and what it could be used for. You know, some people just see a useless piece of block they want to throw out. I see it as now it just became a workbench, and it's used for other stuff. Nice seat too. I love this little block. It's been in the family forever. But basically that's it. I'm going to continue breaking down my firewood. Free firewood. You can't beat free. Nice little thing here. Tried to do it at work the other day, but it was just too much noise, too much time. I sledgehammered that, as you'll see on the video before this. And that's about it. I mean, I'll be doing more breakdowns of cons, just because, particularly because somebody was interested on it when I posted just a brief thing on Facebook on how to con people. And that was basically part of what the first item was basically distract. You know, never let people truly know your true intentions, because once they know that, then they can kind of get one up on you. And we never totally let them know what we were up to. And granted, they grasped it as we were basically pulling our con game back then. We were teenagers, so they didn't quite grasp how intelligent I was, and they eventually had to try to get us, but luckily Dungeons and Dragons, my inside guy who was a friend, basically alerted me, and we stopped everything, and I basically have been on a straight and narrow pretty much from then on. I mean, that was like when I was 15, you know, in like 1986. Just become straight and narrow. You know, nowadays I found that I just have to basically almost ask for stuff, and I'm given it. It's weird. I don't know why, but you know, so many people will steal absolutely useless, stupid things, and they'll lose their jobs, or you know, they'll go to jail. All this stuff, and it's like there's nothing valuable enough out there for me to want to basically risk being put into a hamster cage. That's what jail is to me. Well, I got a robin here that wants some grapes. Yeah, I see you. I'm gonna go feed my birds. Can't con them too hard, or well.